Welcome to the Magic Tavern. What do you bring to the table?
Welcome, one and all. Like I said, I am the inevitable BDC, and I am here to build a town. Proskur, let me pull the map up, and the map's not up. Oh, goody. Hang on a second. I'm all sorts of prepared here. So we're on the world of Faerun, or the continent of Faerun, excuse me. Here's one here. There we go. And we just have to. This guy made this map. You can find that by just looking up. It's on D&D Next. You can look up Faerun map. And you should be able to bring this up. And it's interactive. Well, interactive to the point that you can make it bigger, you can make it smaller. It's pretty simple, but it's a pretty neat little tool. And since I'm reacquainting myself with the Forgotten Realms, I thought it would be a nice tool to have around. Now, if you're not familiar with the zero sessions, they're just that. We are building some zero sessions, building up to the big game. We're getting closer and closer. You guys that are anticipating it, I'm sorry it's taken us so long. There was a bit of a snafu. We're doing good. But we're playing in Faerun, and we have chosen, after much deliberation, the town of Proskur. And there you go. The town of Proskur is right there. It's just southeast in the foothills of the Sunset Mountains, just across from Fort Helm, which I can't find any information on Fort Helm. If you've got any information on Fort Helm, let me know. I assume it's a dwarven keep, although there's not a dwarvy face on here, but it's a fort, so that's why Easting's down here. I don't know why the big dwarf town wasn't up here right across, but anyway, who am I to ask questions? So we're going to start in Proskur. It has become, in the last 10 to 15 years, a part of Coromir. Used to be an independent state south of Coromir, and now they have annexed a great deal of this south of the Dragonmere. Of course, they've always had this right here along the Stormhorns, Symbia, the Dale Lands. They've been there, but they've ventured south, and there's a lot of talk about the expansion south and what that means. But we'll get into politics later. We want to talk about Proskur. Now, to build a town, a lot of these places you'll find maps too. They may be old maps. You may have to renew them. Personalize them. It's your universe. Put whatever the hell you want in that town. But this town, Proskur, does not have a map. So the first thing you have to do is find out, and I've already done this, so I've already been here. But I'm walking you through the process. This is actually not so much a zero session as it is a DM session of the zero sessions. So bear with me. I'll show you exactly how you figure this thing out, because like I said, they didn't give us a lot of information. But here, this is what we get. As I've told you many times, especially if you're playing Forgotten Realms, a lot of the generic stuff you can find here as well. Forgotten Realms Wiki is a font of information and seems to be pretty damn accurate. And the coolest thing is, I'm a researcher at heart, and so I love to know the resources, where everything comes from. If you go down to the bottom of these pages, look at all this wondrous detail. You can go to the Power of Faerun. You can go to the Forgotten Realms Guide and the setting, campaign set. The Lords of Darkness definitely plays into this, and I'll tell you why later. The Cormorian Marshes. That's part of Elminster's ecology, so I'll look that up some other time. Something in the Unapproachable East. That's interesting. The Grand History of the Realms. I do have that. Ed Greenwood, one of the modern masters. And a book called The Code of the Harpers. There's lots of details, and sometimes you'll run up on novels. I don't have time to dig through novels. Did it give the page number? The cool thing is, if it gives you a page number, then you can go straight to it. Hey, page 50. No, wait, that's The Ruins of Zentel Keep campaign book. Well, this one says Cut of the Harpers on page 71. Well, I may have to look that one up too. Something I haven't looked up, but Proskur is between the Bridge of Fallen Men, which leads right into Cormyr proper, close to Great Gaunt, along the high road, and intersecting with the, hang on a second, to make sure I get this right, the Overmore Trail. So the high road and the Overmore Trail intersect at their town. Now, the first thing, not the first thing. One of the first things I've been looking for is exports. You see what they export, what they actually send out to other places from their home base. So, not Cormyr, but that's the country. Cormyr the country, Proskur the town. Proskur actually says in their exports, and I quote, magic items, Maxoris, and slaves. But there's a problem with that. And we're going to explain a lot of that later. But the only reason that magic items, I believe, and slaves are on there is because of the Thegan Enclave. There is no open slavery or sale of slaves or anything. It is against Cormyr law. Therefore, because it says slaves, I say it's pretty much because of the Thegan Enclave. Now, I'll explain that in a minute. They deal in magic items on the forefront. They're very popular for it because they are run by wizards. But the slaves are all done underground, which is another thing I need to work out because they do it rather well. And they do a brisk business in slaves right under Cormyr's nose, and there's a lot of groups like the Harpers and the Purple Knights that would love to bust them and send them packing. But you got to catch them in the act, and that's pretty tough. So anyway, so you take those off the table for now, and all you have is Maxoris. Now, I'm going to show you what I do. I can tell you what it is, or I can look up Maxoris. Google's a wonderful thing. The wonderful thing about Google is Google's a wonderful thing. And you always put DND. You put it in letters. Of course, they show Proskur because it's one of the exports. Now, come on. DND for... Okay, it's going to be hard on me now. It's not going to let me... No, find it now. Okay, fine. I found it. I can't remember what I found it in. Maxoris is a salt alternative. I don't know if it's any healthier for you, by the way, but Maxoris is a salt alternative that you find in Proskur. They export it. That is definitely an export. So mark that down. A preservative named Maxoris. The second thing they're known for, and they tell you right over here. Let me see if I can find that point. Oh, there it is. Flora and fauna. Under flora and fauna, it says the city lent its name to the Rudan, a vegetable colloquially known as the red turnip of Proskur. So they're known for two things on their own. They export a salt alternative, a preservative, called Maxoris, and they export the red turnip of Proskur. Now that's and that's all that we know that they make. It doesn't say anything else besides those other two snippets that has nothing to do with them, I don't think. Now there may be people there, since you're that close to the dwarfs. Sorry, let me pull the map up. Since you're that close to the dwarfs of the Sunset Mountains, there's a long history of the dwarfs that lived there. And in the Stormhorns. I'm sure there's a brisk business in dwarven magical items and armors and whatnot. So they could definitely be an exporter of magical items besides the Thegan Enclave. But you'd be hard-pressed to compete with the Thegan Enclave. I'm just saying. So if it was just those two things, you look at it right here. Proskur's right there. If that's the only two things they were known for and could produce and had any hand in, it would be a small town, small village, maybe just a hole in the ground along the way. But they are also known. They're definitely also known for their position on the trade routes. Hang on a second. Let me show you my map that I made. There's the main coster, if you will. That's what they call the big companies that run the trade routes. Is the 1,000 Head Coster Trading Company. And so, hang on, let's go over to my D&D files. And we'll go to the new adventure. And there is a map I made. I can figure out which one it is. Should we write one of these? Huh. Or maybe it's, no. Did I drop it in Proskur? No. Okay. Somebody's playing some mean tricks on me tonight. If you're one of my players, don't look too close into this file. See, that just irritates the hound out of me. It's right here in front of me. Okay. Reabor? No. We'll get to right. We've talked a little bit about Reabor already. Did I drop it in the horse trade? No, of course not. Okay, we're going to give up on it here in a second. Okay. The 1,000 Head Coster works the trade route that, I don't know if it's where it starts or ends. I assume it may start and end in Hillsfar, right there on the coast of the Moon Sea, which connects to Thar and a lot of these other countries up here. But it goes through Coromir, the Dell Lands, it's close to Symbia. I think it actually, goes through High Moon, no, and this way. I think they do revert. I don't have the stupid map in front of me. I made one. But anyway, they start up here is one of the ending spots is Hillsfar. But it goes, as I told you, when it comes out of Coromir South, it goes across the bridge and through Proskur, straight through here, through Easting to Reabor, into Burdusk and beyond, and it will finally come to rest. See, it goes all the way through here to Edingard, past the High Moor, all the way up to Waterdeep. So they run this, and really strange, the people who run this very trade route run it out of Tether, right there. They used to be part of It was Riadavan, and just recently Tether has, well, maybe it's been 10 years ago or so ago. Well, we won't talk about that, but they pushed north and they're here, but they don't run any trade route through there. Real confusing, but the money's up here, no doubt. So that puts Proskur right on the heartbeat of the 1,000 Head Coster trading company, and their main route. Their main route from Waterdeep to Hillsfar. So apparently, sometime in the past, the Merchant Council of Proskur, which is the exact unimaginative name, unimaginative, how about that, name they gave their council, latched onto the idea that they are on the heartbeat, on the very vein of the trade routes that run from the Sword Coast all the way up to the Moon Sea, and that they could make themselves important. A lot of these towns, like Reabor, Arabel, Scornabel, along the way, have their own agendas. Most towns do. Proskur made their agenda servicing the caravans. So when they came along going north or going south on this trade route, they'd go right through Proskur. So Proskur, I believe that this is where I speculate. I see where the story's going and how Proskur became a town of 14 to 20,000. Because if it wasn't on the trade route, if they weren't making cash money doing this, they would probably be dwindled down to a little village again, and basically get trampled underfoot. But they didn't. So the council apparently long ago latched onto the idea that they should service the caravan route, and so they almost doubled their town. This is once again my idea, because they didn't give us a whole lot of information. They still have people that have lived there a long time that do all their work and their art there in town, who export their goods and benefit from the caravans coming through also, because they may have something that the caravans want. You never know. So they doubled their town in the process of servicing the caravan routes, allowing the caravan to not traipse straight down the middle of town anymore. I mean, or land on Proskur and invade all their inns and taverns, and where they could build their own inns and taverns out on the caravan district, I'm calling it, which will set, I think, toward the Sunset Mountains, just northwest of town. It's part of the same town. And we'll just start a new one, get a big old page up, and then just open up one of those. Open as layers. And I can show you this desktop. These are the new ones. Which one do I want to show first? Because they're, okay, that's kind of in product. Maybe if I get a good angle, I can show you. Okay, no explanation here, and I know this is rude of me, but this is the, ooh, kind of big. Okay, guys, come on, guys. I got it. I got this. I almost got this. This is the layout of the old town, and the caravan route would run westish, northwestish by town. And I'll explain the numbers and the dice and all that craziness here in a minute. Let's open up another page. Maybe I can show you. Okay, and once again, huge. I'm only doing this to show you kind of what the city will look like. This is rough, of course, I understand. So, this is the old town. This is also the old town. It's a little closer up. They have built almost a whole other town over here for the caravan route. Now, there is a trail between them, but most of the traffic goes around or through. But this whole town is almost totally to service the caravan route. Also, just a little tidbit, in Halkett, you would know this. This is not any secret. There was a time, at least 10 years or so ago, that this town was run by thieves. Rain would both love and hate this town. Halkett knows who Rain is. Some of you may not. So, but the Thieves Guild worked very closely with the city council back in the day. In fact, to the point that it was the city council, and that criminal activities could just happen on the surface out in front of people, no big deal, as long within reason, of course. You know, they didn't let just everything happen within their control. As they're making bucks off it, they don't care, right? Not sure Mason, your character wouldn't be sure exactly how much of that is true anymore because it's been 10 more years. Coromir, since that time, Coromir has annexed it as a part of their kingdom. And you hear they've become a very legitimate part of Coromir. And so you don't know what happened to the old guard thieves guild that was running things.